Egypt and the Democratic Republic of Congo are enjoying distinguished relations throughout history and are witnessing positive development and remarkable growth at all levels, in addition to the mutual support in many aspects that reflects the strong bilateral ties. One of the aspects of support is Congo's stance towards the issue of the Ethiopian dam. The Democratic Republic of Congo has expressed its support for Egypt's stance over the disputed Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam through a letter delivered to President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi from his Congolese counterpart Felix Tshisekedi. The DRC also expressed its aspirations to develop bilateral ties with Egypt and benefit from its expertise in the fields of infrastructure and major developmental projects. Congo also praised the aid delivered by Egypt to the African country to help stem the spread of coronavirus. Another aspect of cooperation is the file of electricity, where Minister of Electricity Mohamed Sheker met the Special Investment Advisor to the Congolese President to discuss means of boosting bilateral cooperation in this field. They discussed potentials of the power and energy sector in Egypt, as well as success stories in the past period and the joint projects implemented by Egyptian electricity companies. The Congolese side expressed hope to benefit from the Egyptian know-how in the field of electricity. Ways to ease Egypt's contribution to the Inga Dam project through its private sector firms were also tackled. Egypt and Congo have also shown great keenness on ways of boosting industrial cooperation, where Minister of Trade and Industry Naveen Gemea discussed with her Congolese counterpart the potential of transmitting the advanced know-how of the Egyptian industry to the Congolese one, especially with regard to the establishment of industrial and economic zones. She affirmed that the eagerness of the Trade Ministry to offer training programs for the Congolese cadres to address the shortage of the competent technical laborers in the Central African country. For his part, the Congolese official pointed out to the major agricultural potentials of his country that owns some 80 million acres of arable land and imports agricultural crops worth $1.5 billion annually.
Right, and to highlight further the Egyptian-African cooperation and the Egyptian efforts in Africa, we have with us over the phone Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of Political Science at Al-Azhar University. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you.
And we've been seeing a lot of, or a number of conferences that have been held here in Egypt in order to emphasize and promote for the African continent. There was this very important meeting that took place between three important blocs, the AEC, the COMESA, and the SADC, that resulted in a very important tripartite trade agreement called the TAFTA. There was also the free trade agreement that was signed during Egypt's assuming the presidency of the African Union. How far do you think Egypt has worked on the economic perspective for the African continent? How far do you think we need to further work on that at this upcoming stage, particularly with a country like the DR Congo, which will be assuming the presidency of the African Union this year or next year?
Yeah, actually, there are good potentialities, of course, and when it comes to Egypt, when assumed the responsibilities of the African Union the previous years, I think the Egyptian leadership raised another important slogan and another direction in the Egyptian diplomatic relations, which is southward. Here, we used to say, let's go to the west, let's go to the east. But the Egyptian leadership was very keen, with the support of all Egyptian people, that our depth life, our family is in Africa. Africa is the land where there are a lot of resources, and a lot of potentialities. And I think since Egypt assumed a relationship with other countries in the...
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I think that that is a very important orientation in Egyptian foreign policy, and of course it has a long, long history since Patrice Lumumba, since Haile Selassie in Ethiopia, since we knew the names of the leaders and we liked them, we like what they have done for Egypt and the cooperation stories with Egyptian leadership a long time ago. So I think coming back to Africa is a must, and it is the future.
Yes, already Egypt has came back to Africa, and strongly. But when we are speaking from the economic aspect, and we are weighing the efforts that Egypt has been doing, particularly in the economic side, holding the African Summit in 2018, holding a number of other conferences to promote and propagate Africa. How far do you think Africa has the ability to be this open-ended of potentials for an area as huge as the African continent?
Yeah, I think it is very important to say here that economy and politics go together, because we'd like to work on all fronts when it comes to establishing stability, fighting terrorism, enhancing good relationship through missions, through cooperative projects, joint projects as we have already mentioned, and I think that stability is very needed, and also economy is a key. When we have strong economy with the shared interest between us and our other African countries, I think this is the key for knowing that there are interests. So this serves the politics too, the politics of stability and development.
Right. Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of Political Science, Al-Azhar University, thank you so much for being with us over the phone. I guess that brings us to the end of this episode. As I said at the very beginning, Egypt has always been keen on the African issues and has been keen on propagating Africa. I think that is the role that Egypt will continue to do. Many thanks for watching. Tomorrow will be another episode with another colleague. Good night.